this is JL Lai over here. Welcome to the Talents Podcast, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the uglies about talents. Now, welcome back to this show again. I think this is our second episode. Today, we have a different topic. Every single time when come to a talent podcast, we talk about different topics, but everything is gonna be related to talent. Since there's so many other problems and also issue that's going on in the working society, now a lot of people are complaining about their talents, a lot of things that's about replacing talent and things like that. That's why we have this podcast. So do remember to click the subscribe button and share if you like this topic. So what happened today? Today, we are going to talk about a topic called, is AI going to replace all human? Now, is this, you see, this topic has been pretty, trending right now. Everybody is trying to say, AI is coming up. Should I learn how to use AI? Is AI going to replace my job? I don't know whether it's a yes or not. That's why today we have this podcast over here and with this topic. And of course, with that, we have invited a few. Okay, not few. Today is a little bit special. Today we got two guests instead of one guest. Okay, let's welcome our two guests. First, we have Charles from PDMC.
Hi, JL. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Do you want to introduce a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Charles Gregory from PDMC. We are a company focusing on digital transformation and AI, and we focus on CEO. C stands for consulting, E stands for education, O stands for outsourcing, and that's what we do best.
Good. Not just have with a handsome man over here from PTMC, we also have Zevin.
Thanks, JL, for inviting. So, hello, everyone. My name is Zevin. I'm the co-founders and CEO of PDMC. So, in the past, we have been in the markets, digital industry for about more than 8 years of experience, right? So, in the past, we actually focus a lot more on digital marketing. But right now, as per what Charles has shared, we have shifted into the AI and digital transformations area. Yeah, so right now we are helping the local companies to actually help them to adapt into the latest trend in AI and digital to help them to grow their business.
Okay, good. Now, with that said over here, if you're looking into what they are doing with the company, PDMC, okay, you should know they are basically the best person that you can talk to about this topic over here. Now, this topic, I think you can relate to it. Even for myself, as a 90s, I can also relate to it because there are just way too many advanced, I would say, platform, software, or things that is related to AI that can help us to expedite our job for 10 times. Back then, when we want to do a report, say it might take us 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 hours, but now AI like ChatGPT can generate within 10 minutes. That's why today this topic over here personally is something that I'm very interested in. That's why I have both of this very nice gentlemen and also ladies over here to talk about that. Why don't we go to our first question over here now? AI is becoming a big deal, in business. Okay, but is Malaysia company, whether they are big or smaller, ready to actually adjust to this environment or this technology or not? Now, I think that, why don't I get Charles to share your opinion on this thing?
Is are Malaysian companies ready to go into AI?
Correct.
In my personal opinion, yes. All right. We all are using, like what you mentioned just now, ChatGPT. And there are so many tools, right? But those are task. Those are task-orientated. Job-wise, I mean, if you go to job streets, if you go to job portals, right, do you see a lot of AI-related job position? I don't think so yet, but on task, there's a lot. I want people who can do GPT, I want people who can do Canva, people want to do different tools in AI, right? So is Malaysian companies ready to go AI? I think yes, and we already start to see in the task management, like what you mentioned just now. So ChatGPT is just one of the hundreds of tools that's available in AI to expedite our job performance, to do HR, to do logistics. So as we go along, I will share more on what AI can do for companies.
But what do you see in this area where the company adjusting to it? You see, back in the 90s, when internet is introduced, I think Malaysia is always very behind a lot of different things, right? Like when internet is introduced back in the 90s.
Okay.
I think it took Malaysia another 10 years to adapt to internet.
Okay.
So AI in Malaysia, are they adapting or not? Or are they already like very much used, or still is only 1%. I'm not sure.
No, I think it depends on what do they adapt. If let's say you talk about employees, yes, a lot of us have adapted, like you mentioned, again, the tools, right? Now, for company level, I believe that we all know that we're supposed to go AI. The how, we are not sure yet. And I believe that is something that, as we go along, businesses will want to go into it. Definitely, the awareness to use AI is 100%, we are ready. But the how, the ability to, what are the first steps? Whether do I hire a consultant? Do I need to do gap analysis? Do I need to do research on the costs that is going to incur? So these are things that Malaysians is not ready yet, I believe. But we're looking into moving toward that.
Yeah, but can I just add on to
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
I think I remember when we first started our company back then, right? Digital marketing is not a norm.
Correct.
It's like we have to educate a lot to people to tell them that what is digital marketing and why do you need it. But I remember right after a few years later, the introductions of like Lazada, Shopee, all those e-commerce marketplaces, that actually helps to educate the markets a lot. And especially during pandemic, we just need that boost from the economy itself to create the strong awareness for people to really understand that, hey, I really need to adapt into into digitals, right? Or else if I just focusing on offline marketing and whatnot, it really can't, right? So right now AI that I see is also at a very infant stage. People heard about it. People heard about the cool things that's like how ChatGPT can create and make our life easier. So they heard all about all these things, but the questions come back to like, how do we really implement that into our business and into our work? So it's still having that question mark on how are we going to do that.
Okay, can then let's if we are talking about this part, why don't we go into this question where it's about an individual? Just how we talk about a company right? Whether they are adjusting to it, whether they are adapting to it. Then what about the individual? Do you think they have Malaysian, especially in Malaysia they are already maximizing what is available in Malaysia as an individual, as a professional who is working? What do you think?
Maximizing in terms of what sense?
Like, are they using AI to?
I don't think it's maximizing, but I would say start using it. Yes, because if I believe you also use ChatGPT, right?
So how I come up with this podcast is also from ChatGPT.
Yeah, so I believe that a lot of individual, because they see the wow factor of like ChatGPT, and a lot of their friends, their colleagues, they have been talking about it. So started using it, yes, but whether or not they have been fully maximizing and to really to understand how AI, the power of AI that can really make their life and their work easier, and most importantly, how can we talk about reducing the costing of the business operation and also increasing the revenue? Have they really think of like the effectiveness is using AI? How do they really implement into the business operation?
Okay.
We are still looking at a gap right there.
Okay. So you see, because of AI and things, I think DMC, which is a digital marketing consulting company, have also have repositioned yourself as a digital AI and digital transformation expert, okay, or company, right? But you see, Malaysia, because we know Malaysia is always behind. Do you think the services that you are trying to provide over here, Malaysia is ready to buy? Why don't I throw this to Charles? You see, I'll give you an example.
Sure.
In PORTMAN, we are very advanced in a lot of things that we're trying to do. Like technology, I don't know how many years ago our chairman have already wanted to implement, but it doesn't work. It's not because it's not effective, but they are not ready for it. But now you are trying to offer this service to Malaysian, which maybe they only 2% using 2% of the AI. Do you think your service now have got the demand of it?
Okay, so statistic, 13% people are ready. Companies, SMEs are ready for AI. And when you talk about that, is international data. So Malaysian, we don't have that data, but I think you can say about 10 to 13%. Now, when you say that Malaysians are a little bit behind, again, depends on what. If let's say SMEs, in terms of technology, AI, definitely yes. Yeah, but right now, our awareness is very high among employees, among bosses. Everybody knows AI can do this, AI can do that. But to really dive deep in what you want, what's the objective of a SME to move into AI is two different things. So for example, right, we can use AI for HR. We can use AI for marketing. So I'll use these two examples. So when you are a big corporate, let's say you have a job description, you have 500 resumes. How long does it take to sort that out? How long does it take to interview? So these are things that AI can do for you. AI can sort based on skill set. AI can sort based on the character. Whatever that you input, it will give you. You can have data for managers to make faster decisions, and it can eliminate bias. That means race, gender. Yeah, these are the things that AI, because AI is AI, it doesn't have, oh, you are this race, I don't like you. Oh, you are this salary, I don't want you. They work on what the bosses want. I want you to be able to perform, and I want the ROI. When I hire you, I want to make sure 3 times, 4 times, 5x, whatever. AI can do that for you. So these are small things. How about marketing? How about automation? See, right now, I can almost guarantee you in Malaysia itself, because when we do a lot of marketing, data entries comes from the leads, comes from WhatsApp, comes from Facebook, comes from TikTok, comes from offline. It's not integrated. And then after that, the boss will say, sorry, not the boss, the salespeople will blame the marketing people. The marketing people will say, hey, I generate leads for you. And then the salespeople will say things like, your list sucks, and it goes very, very common. So with AI, we can integrate this, we can make it better, we can make it more efficient. And then you need to qualify things. So AI is, to me, we are ready. There's a lot of opportunities. Are we way behind? A little bit, yes. Right? So these are things that we can do for companies. Yeah.
So I think your objective here is to fill in, to reduce the gap of Malaysian company or individual of not using AI.
I think the question is, what are the main objective why companies want to do AI? So this one, I think the bosses, the higher management need to decide. Because like I mentioned, you can use for logistics, can use for recruitment, can use for marketing. It's just not the worker want to use AI for their job task, but as a company as a whole. You see, if I want to improve, there must be investment. Investment in terms of what? Talent. Investment in terms of management, high level, in terms of hardware, softwares. Must be a buy-in from the top to the bottom. And you might think that maybe depend on the generation. If it's a company that is a little bit older, probably my age, change, don't want, forget about it. Like what Zevin mentioned, talk about digital also, people don't want to change. Younger people, maybe, I'm giving a little bit of bias now, but maybe they're more acceptable, they're more receptive to AI, because in fact they are using it on a daily basis. So these are things that the management must think, not only on the direction, the objective of what they want to achieve with AI, but can they implement? Can they really execute? So these are things that companies need to think through, decide whether it's worth the time or not, and how much return of investment. I think bosses just want 4 things, as you all know, right? Reduce costs, make more revenue, make it more efficient, add values, environment, ESG, social governance. So these are the main things that people want. Bosses want. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have anything to add on this?
I just want to add on a little bit over right here, because what I see right here is that the companies, they are, sometimes you do not know what you do not know, right? And we are not just providing as a ready-made AI and digital service, but rather more towards to a tailor-made and a customized service to the companies. And we are looking at more towards to, it's very crucial for them to go through a thorough assessment on their current existing business operation, and to understand what is their business needs and objective, and what are the challenges that they are currently facing, and what are the other opportunities that we can create for them by using an AI and digital solutions, right? And what I'm looking over right here is that we started from an education's service, right? So not just providing service by building it for you and doing it for you. At the same time, we are looking into educating the markets for them to have the realizations of how these AI and digital solutions are able to help them.
Okay, nice. I think in terms of overall introduction of AI, I think it's pretty clear on this part over here, whether it's for business, whether it's for individual. Let's dive in a little bit more when come to an individual using it. Now, let's see, an individual professional, especially like those who are in HR, okay? is AI changing their daily job? Right? How is it affecting them? I'm not sure whether this is making their job easier or is actually making their job tougher. Let's talk about HR first. Zevin?
Right, I see it as both ways, right? Easier in the sense of it actually simplified the task, making things faster and easier to complete, right? But the complicated things will come in terms of the complexities in using the AI tools. Because
Correct.
right, because you have been doing all those manual works all the time, and right now introducing a technology to you, you need to learn, you need to pick up the skills in order for you to really perform a good how to use the AI.
I'll give you an
right?
example. Our company have recently implemented a AI tool, HR lah, okay,
Right.
to track our attendance. Right, so staff will have its own routine. 8:30 you come to work, you have to check in at the specific location, then 6 o'clock you go back. As a manager, as a CEO here, of course, I have to monitor that and this and that. But when they are doing sales or at someplace else, they have to put in the request. I have to approve, and then I need to adjust their timing or where they want to check in at the location. To me, it is making me difficult. I'm not sure whether from other people perspective or like HR is making them easier, because sometimes it can be a devil and it can also be an angel. So your perspective, which one is more?
Okay, I give you another example then.
Okay.
For example, it's because in your perspective of like making attendance and orders, right? Taking example as a restaurant, if you go to some restaurant or even some manufacturing company, how do they take the attendance? They have the thumbprint, or even exactly right, or even the traditional wise, they have the punch card.
Correct.
When they have the punch card, and I have a friend that's running a restaurant, and how they every month at the beginning of the month, where she's trying to do the salary and payroll, right?
Today.
Huh?
Now.
No, right now still yes, they have to
Sorry.
pick out all the punch card, compiling all the punch card and looking through the numbers of like when is the check-in and when is the check-out time, and calculating whether or not there's an OT. That's going to be tedious. Imagine that you have like 10 staff. Okay, still manageable, right?
Okay lah, 10 can lah.
But if let's say it's a manufacturing company, you
Yeah.
have like 50, 100s, 200s,
Yeah.
and how can the HR handle the payroll for manual work like this?
1
right?
month got 30 days, 29 days calculating.
Yeah. So that will actually save them lots of time, because yes, the manager might require a little bit of time in looking into that, but when it comes to the final end result, in overall wise, I believe that it's still saving lots of like the
Okay.
human work.
Do you have anything to add, Charles?
Now, I think we talk about AI and HR. So I think HR job, let's break it into maybe four main things. Number one, maybe employee engagement. They want to know how's the mental health. They want to know whether the staff are happy, the staff are, have problem with their colleagues. Number two, will probably be recruitment. Like I mentioned just now, you have so many resumes, what skills, AI can help you sort all these things.
Yep.
How about employee data? How about, do I know the performance, like what you mentioned just now, Zevin mentioned, punch card. Can I do it better with AI? Or maybe on top of that, I'll give you an example, in China, they have cameras in the workspace that can actually track how many times you pick up the phone and get distracted by your work.
Okay.
So now, whether they are doing work or not, AI cannot know what you're doing, but how many times you are working and you pick up the phone, you get distracted. How many times you walk to the coffee machine and take a break. How many times you go to the washroom and take a break. So then, this we can give you another thought process, right? Should all this data be captured? The employee give consent,
Yeah.
because
Privacy.
privacy, correct. But at the same time also, as a boss, or maybe I want to know the performance. So I think the objective again is very important.
Alright.
And why is this done in China? Just example, it's not because to track the performance of work, but to track whether their work is safety. In the culture of in the manufacturing, make sure it's safety enough. So if any problem they're doing wrong, they can actually rectify. So the AI can actually do this.
Correct.
So this company actually has one of the best safety processes because of using AI.
Right.
So it's not why are we using it? It's the objective is very important. It's not just, I got this tool, it's the latest tool, let's do it. I got this tool, let's do it. It's the objective of the company, and they must leverage on AI. Like I mentioned, it comes from the top. it comes from the bottom, it comes from the whole company perspective. Yeah.
So, standing from two target audience, one is the individual, another one is business. So we are talking about tough or easier, making their job tough and easier. So looks like you are standing on the making their job easier side on the business side. But you see, implementing AI like that, okay, I believe it will cost a lot of money to the business, right? So what's your say on that?
Okay, so software today on AI is not that expensive because you don't require huge hardware like servers. Okay, so for example, I just came back from Intel. Intel have office servers that's the size of a smaller, like a laptop, but probably like an iPad. And you can run a whole AI thing inside the server based on the iPad size. So is the cost expensive? No. Things are getting much cheaper. You don't need a lot of connectivity in terms of, because it's now cloud-based. If companies are very protective of their data, they can have, like I mentioned, the iPad server kind of things. It's not that expensive. Now, what is expensive probably will be the service, I would say, because in order to collect data for AI to work, that probably requires a lot of man hours in the beginning to set things up. But after setting things up, it's all run automatically. I mean, the cost can definitely be reduced. So is it, to me as an owner of the boss, right, is it important for me to think, is it expensive or is it cheap? I don't think that's the right question for me to answer, but it's more towards the ROI that I get.
The values that
The
it
values.
generates to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I can invest, let's say $500,000 and divided by 12, let's say whatever amount of it, but I can generate 3x, 5x, will I want to invest? Definitely.
Yeah, why not?
So that is thing. So if you're asking me in terms of hardware, softwares, not that much, but more towards the operation, yes, but it's only one-time work, a little bit more continuous and just maintaining it to make sure it's okay. So yeah.
Now, let me challenge you on that one.
Sure.
That's the show for lah. 500,000 to MNC, small change.
Okay.
Sub water lah.
Sub water.
But you see, for a let's just say SME, okay,
Sure.
because we balance this thing, this implementation is to save cost of implementation of AI is to save cost. But usually the company that want to save the most cost is smaller company. Right? But smaller company, like let's just say they make about 1 million a year or 2 million revenue, I'm talking about not profit. How to take out 500,000 to implement that? So is this still possible or not? I mean, for MNC, no problem lah. But for SME, especially the micro one or mid lower one, 2 million revenue a year one, then they won't be able to afford it, right?
I will give you an example. So when I talk to a small company, we use a small company, would it be okay? Let's say 10 employees, would it be okay? And I look at the employees, right? They have a content producer, they have a copywriter, and they have an ads manager. So 3 people.
Correct.
With today's technology, these 3 people can be replaced with 1 person.
Correct.
And here it goes, right? And we use tools that is easy. ChatGPT, Canva, we talk about marketing. So 3 people doing different things. What's that tool that's so easy to use for editing videos?
CapCut.
CapCut, thank you.
Yeah, see, I'm also an AI expert now.
Correct, CapCut, right? It used to be expensive. Photo, Adobe, Photoshop,
Yeah.
Adobe, things like Adobe, all the softwares, right?
Right.
Today CapCut, today Canva is not expensive. It's probably at 200 ringgit a year.
Or even there's a free
version.
to use,
Free one.
yeah.
Correct. It's AI. Canva today is we call it augmented reality. So you can just type in the text, boom, image comes out, boom,
Correct.
video comes out. So why do you need 3 people? So on average, let's talk about SMEs. Average, these people, let's say 4,000 a banda. 3 people, 12,000. Okay. So if I were to go in and say that, hey, you know what? I can train 1 person to do 3-person job. 12,000 times 12 is 144,000. And now I can maybe put that at 50,000-60,000. You still save about 80,000. These small companies, But you know what? In order to train and everything like that, you just maybe 50,000 one time off. Example. lah.
Okay.
And I'll guarantee you that it will save costs. We can do a gap analysis. We can do a growth analysis and things like that because it's work performance, right? Increase of work, increase of productivity, save costs. Sure, why not? So these are things that we do, of course, in a bigger scale. So that is what we do.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
then my next question will come. One side we are talking about saving costs, and the fastest way to save costs is to cut people.
Ayo, okay.
Ngamo, it's like that, ma.
Okay,
Correct. I think
okay.
you all will also agree, lah. Anyway, now you see, when coming to cut people, then I want to talk about the individual side. Then I'll go to Zevin side.
Okay.
See, if I am the person that Charles say want to cut,
Okay.
3% now cut to 1 more. I'm not sure whether I'm the one or not. So by doing this, we as an individual or the staff as an individual also have to be very careful. So does that mean that we will have lesser employment opportunity for an individual or not? I can also be using CapCut, but I may not be as good as Charles ma. Then I'm gonna be replaced with it. So what's your perspective on that area?
I think the key override here is continuous improvement of yourself, your personal skills, because AI to me is just a tool. It's not designed to replace human completely, but it's more towards to complement the human's capabilities override here, right? Because you're talking of CapCut, right? Without a humans to operate the CapCut, basically CapCut cannot just edit the video by themselves. If it able to work by that like that, right? Every one of us will be scared, right? So no, you still need a human to actually operate it. But just now you are doing a comparison of like whether or not my skill is actually better than the other person's skills, and it's all come back to your personal developments. Whether or not you are continuous having in mind that AI and all these digital tools and digital software and digital apps that's available in the markets, right? So be it in your job scope or your areas, the focus areas that you're having, right? You need to continuous to look for developments in terms of your skills area. So not replacing you, but either I'm looking at transforming you to a new role, focusing more to strategic, creativity thinking, and critical thinking, because this is some things that AI cannot do and cannot replicate. Yeah.
So I want to add to that, and you also asked me, right? Now, I will stay as a boss, right? But let's put on the employee side. Wow, boss, now you save money, you only hire one, two fellow you let go.
Correct. You should pay me higher, ma.
Correct. So now, based on what Zevin mentioned, shift of mindset is very important. So now, 3 people to do the job. Say in business, there's only 2 things we need to focus on. Growth, fulfillment. Growth are people like marketing, people who do sales, people who brings in business revenue to the company. Fulfillment is after you get a project, you do the work. So if now the boss says that 3 person needs to do the job, maybe it's a agency for whatever, okay, 1 person can do, correct? The 2 other people, I'm not saying that you fire. The 2 people can be retrained to use the existing skills to do marketing instead of fulfillment. So to a boss, it's still like, now I still keep, but now my bottom up revenue goes up like crazy. Can be 3x, 4x, 5x. First, I save costs, but now I got 2 other people to do marketing for me. True enough, they're not salespeople. I agree. People who do CapCut, people who do behind the scenes are not going to talk and things like that. But AI today can talk. You don't have to talk. You can do videos. You can do podcasts. You can use your skills to not serve the current client, but to get new clients. So it's a mindset shift that what Zevin mentioned just now. Now, of course, if the employee say, no, boss, I don't want to do, they're still doing the same thing. So who is the one that's making the strategic now? The bosses, right? The employee is still the same, but now they can make more money for everyone at the same time. I don't need so many people to fulfill. So if a boss or a company, SMEs that you mentioned, small ones, can think like that, the bigger ones, it's the same processes. Obviously, there are more departments to integrate, but it's exactly the same processes.
Okay. But this is quite crucial. To me, it's very difficult to find a balance in between it. Now, one side, if the company implement more AI, the more people is gonna go. You like it or not, right? Because saving costs, end of the day. Then if I learn better AI, I should get a higher pay. I mean, equalities lah, right? Then my question to back to Charles and also Zevin as a boss of the company is the same. So if today you implement AI, you replace some of your staff lah, then you left back me. So it's also equally that you have to pay me higher lah. So do you agree to that? Or do you recommend company to do that?
For PDMC as a CEO, when we hire people, when we pay people, right, it's based on performance. So if you can bring in value and you're worth 5,000 or 10,000, then it's worth the money. We are very okay, but it's not that, in the market there's only your salary cap is 5,000, so we're going to pay you according to salary. No, we don't do that. So I can't speak for everyone else, but for us, it's based on performance. So again, if AI can make them better, will I want to give them more job? Okay, I'll give you an example, yeah. I know a lot of bosses, and I've read a lot of horror stories where they say this. Now my job is 9 to 5. Okay, if with AI, I can make it 9 to 12, finish my job already. So 2 things time we need to think. So 12 to 5, definitely nothing to do, right? Because you already complete the job. So as the boss, do I give more job? Or I say, thank you very much, you're off to go. So we need to think like that. So these are things. And if some bosses feel that, hey, you know what, they got nothing to do, I give you more job, but same pay, that is wrong already.
Okay.
Because you need to finish 9 to 5.
Okay.
But if, let's say, for example, you're efficient, and then you can do 2 jobs at one time. I'm not asking you to do OT, still the same thing using AI. You're going to give me more value. You're going to increase my productivity by whatever, right? Is it fair to get you more pay? Of course. But of course, it's the outcome. It's
Right.
not just do the work. Do the work is not really that, how do I say this? For us, in management, like, we always focus on the outcome.
Yep.
You can say what also, like, I do this, I do that, I talk to this, I talk to that, and things like that. I've been doing so much, but what's the outcome? So that is for us. So I think SME bosses need to know, again, what objective they want with their staff. I think it's very important.
Okay. Then from an individual perspective, I think Zevin will agree to this, but of course I want to listen from you that moving forward, no matter what field you studied or work in the future or now, you should learn 1 or 2 or as many AI tools as you can, so that only you can expect a higher pay. So your opinion in this?
I think it's the competitive advantage that you'll be having compared to all your peers, right? So like just now, I fully agree to what Charles mentions, right? The values of that individuals can create or can bring to the companies. And we are looking at right now, talent is so hard to get. And especially we are talking even further to AI talent, is even harder. So if today, if speaking of our company, if our companies, right, we can acquire one AI talents to work with us, definitely we want to ensure that we can retain that talents with us. So we are not going to squeeze the person and, give you a very low pay and things like that, right? But show to us like what are the things that you can create as an individual itself, what are the skills that you're having. So if you go to like interview sessions, it will be the same, right? On your resumes, on the papers, what are your qualifications and what are the experience that you have, what are the skills that you have, and that will make a very difference when it comes to a company to make a decision to whether or not I'm going to select you to join my company or select another person that's having extra skills.
Okay, good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to take a quick break, commercial break over here, and we will come back to continue our second part of talents, and with the topic of, is AI going to replace all human? See you later. Hi, my name is JL, the CEO of PORTMAN Training Academy. At PORTMAN Training Academy, we position ourselves as the one-stop training solution platform to our clients as well as our training partner. We know, as a training manager, we always have the challenges of looking for the right program, the right trainer for our people. Not just that, we also need to do a lot of comparison. Compare what? Trainers and also pricing, so that we can make better decisions, right? But if you are with PORTMAN Training Academy, you don't have to worry about that. With 20 years of experience in the training industry, we are able to provide you with different options, different program, different outline, different trainer. Most importantly is different price for you to choose from. Not just that, we will also be giving you recommendation. As our training partner, we also provide a lot of different facilities. We have training room that is ready for you. We have processes that is ready for you. Most importantly, we can certify your program as a college to add more value to your training program. Welcome back, everybody. This is JL Lai again on the topic of, is AI going to replace all humans? Now, at this part over here, again, let me introduce again, we got Charles and Zevin with us. Now, let us continue our question over here for our audience, right? Now, we have just talked about an overall perspective, right? How do we save costs, Is Malaysian company or individual, whether it's ready for AI or not, Now we know the answers already. Let's go into a little bit deeper on the implementation, the daily routine, things like that. I believe every single time when we adapt to a new thing, like when we start first using iPhone or smartphone, we always have challenges. I believe companies will also have challenges implementing AI and things like that. So why don't I get Zevin to share with us and our audience a little bit on what are the common challenges that the companies are facing nowadays by implementing AI. Then we can go from there to understand better.
Right. I think the biggest challenge right now I'm looking at is change management of the employee, the humans' behaviors, right? Because it's very hard for a company to adapt to a new technology or a new strategies if there is a resistance right here. Yeah, and we are looking at also how do we fit into the humans to the company's culture fit and all those kind of things is also very hard for us to some things that AIs can't do completely, right? So we are looking at, it's advisable for companies to actually provide a lot of continuous improvements, learnings and developments for their team members to understand in terms of what AI will, the potential impacts of AI will bring in to their daily tasks and to impacting on their role, right? So having them to actually go on to perhaps maybe a workshops or a discovery kind of like sessions to understand how does this change will eventually impact them, and also how this AI is going to strategically to align with the company direction.
Okay, your thought, Charles?
Very similar. It's just that the company needs to be very clear, again, objective. So again, AI can do many things, right? I mentioned logistics, human resource, marketing. So let's focus on marketing so that it's easier for me to pick some examples, right? So when it comes to marketing, we already have our way of doing marketing, correct? Can be telephone calls, can be WhatsApp, can be email blasting, can be offline to online. We have so many marketings, correct? But how do we integrate all this data again? So the management needs to think about this. How can the department from sales and marketing, we took big ones here, integrate? How about content people? So when you talk about marketing itself, there's content, there is paid ads, there is about distribution of content, right? AI now can solve a lot of things, can make it better, can make it more efficient, right? But how? I mean, those are easy. We can go, like what Zevin mentioned, education. We can teach you, we can train you. But what I foresee will be, how can you integrate the departments together? How can they integrate to work together? Because right now, I believe a lot of companies, manufacturers, corporates, they are more silo-based. Manufacturing one, content one, marketing one, sales one, yeah? So these are things that is integrated. How do you put this? How do you even share data among each other? How do you know your job responsibility? Yes, we can retrain them, we can re-educate them, correct? But will people, like what Zevin mentioned, adapt to change? Wow, now I have to learn new things. Correct.
Because that actually relates to another question that I'll ask, which it happens to us, which happened to I think a few friends that we have in the business world, right? A lot of time when we implement new thing, let's don't talk about AI only lah. Talk about everything else that we are trying to implement. Like let's say, during the pandemic, we implemented work from home lah. Right, that a lot of people are very used to work from home, really comfortable, the same amount of pay. I got aircon, my own comfort, can play with my dog, my cat, and things like that.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, after the pandemic, I got to go back out there. That actually make the hiring process more difficult. If you guys actually realize that. Now you see, that is just one change, And now I'm talking about another change, which is AI. Now, one of the AI that I know is to keep track of attendance. I think this one is very famous after the pandemic. Okay, people might go, because of this. Want to track me like that? Micromanage. I don't like you lah. Already very difficult to hire. Some more you are making me even more difficult to retain my people. So, really a good idea to actually implement things like that. That could cause the company some damages.
I think it's all based on, you're right, people, growth is hard. When people want to grow, they must change. So I'll use your statement on pandemic. Let's go back about 3 years, pandemic, right? People who didn't go digital marketing. Oh, I got offline, I do events, I do it online, all wipe out. All will wipe out because they must close their businesses, they cannot do things. First warning, and I think that warning was very good. People don't want to adapt. Now, you need to understand this, When we first started DMC, it was about 8 years ago. We were talking about digital marketing. Companies say, yeah, it's nice to have. I don't need it, Okay lah. But when pandemic came, those who did not adapt were all wiped out.
Correct.
Certain industries, of course, cannot do lah. But industries that still can work, still can function, but didn't leverage on digital marketing during that time, were all wiped out. Same thing with AI. Same thing. So, you asked me another good question. Can the challenges, the pain points where we hire people, life balance, I mean, now in a lot of generations, I don't want to go into that because later we get into, different generation gap, right? But I think, again, goes back into the culture. There are companies who really pay their staff well, give good benefits, but they are very strict in what they want to achieve. There are companies who a little bit, chill, relax, with bin bags and things like that, and the work is also chill. But again, depends on the culture, depends on the objective a company wants. You see, both are very important. The management, the employees. Without either one, both cannot run. The business will not run. So you ask me, how do I balance that? And I think we will attract the right talents because when we interview people or when we set ourselves, it is easy to know what our objective is. But if a company or the boss who doesn't know what he wants, I want to hire an AI guy, but I want an AI guy to be chill, I want an AI guy to be doing this and that. I think that's the biggest problem. And I'll just share this with you. You see, a company, no matter what they do, must have a system, correct? They must have tasks. You must do A to do B to do C, will get output D, and then D will get to output E and things like that. It's tasks. But Malaysia is a little bit outdated in this sense. When we want to hire people, what we do? We look at job description. We go and copy from job portals or we use AI. I'm looking for a sales manager. These are the job description you must do. But is it a task that the company wants? See, the process is already wrong.
Correct.
You understand? But if you hire the right people, I don't care where you work. You can work in the moon or the sun. I mean, I'll just give you an example.
If that reception,
Yeah, but the task is the one that is more important than the job description.
Okay.
Because there's no mismatch. So when I interview, let's say for example, can you do this? Can you do that? Oh yes, you can. Good. Now, when the working thing, work at my office, that we can do later. Because at the end of the day, the bosses get what they want first. Employees also get what they want. So I think the mindset change in even hiring, just a simple thing, and this is not AI, yeah? This is just common sense in businesses, right? But you see a lot of people just don't do that. The moment they want to hire people, they go to JLPT, get a job description, or they go to job portals, cut and paste. They don't look at the operations of what a company does on a daily basis. So I think that's a solve your problem.
Okay. Now then, from another perspective is, like from an individual, a company. You see, Malaysia is not very known as a disciplined country. As in, what do I mean by discipline? As in, people don't come to work on time. People go home early. go home early, very on time, but go home late, not so on time. So discipline is always an issue when it comes to talents. I think that every bosses will have the same issue. That's why they uses system to manage them. AI come about, which is the best timing to manage this thing. But you see, if they are not ready, you implement, tak jalan juga mah. So it is a must. It is beneficial to implement now when the people is not ready, or what's your take here? Your take is either you let them adapt themselves, but I just implement, I don't care lah, you adapt yourself lah, or I implement satu, or I don't implement first until the market is ready. What do you think, Zevin?
I think the keywords over right here is ready, right? They are not ready now. But if you don't do anything, will they be ready later on? The questions might not, right? So it's a matter of the companies align back to the company's directions again. If this is something that the company's objective and the directions that they want to go on this path, is a matter of time. You still need to implement. And if you implement later, you will still face the same challenges where the change, the management will still be there. The resistance of people will still be there. It's just that the crowd that you will be handling is different because there's different wave, right? And you push back the implementation. So it's just about a matter of time, and it is all come back to the companies on how are we going to handle it. And I think in terms of these parts of the the discussions, right, a very clear communication, transparency of communication to the whole organization's employee is very crucial. The employees need to understand why, from the company perspective, why they are doing so, why they are heading into this direction. So if they are aligned with the company directions, in terms of the company's values and everything, and also they understand where the company is heading to, they can grow together with the company. Yeah, so I think that's very crucial.
Okay, now, since we are talking about that already, then we have a lot of question mark here already. If I'm a person that is new to AI, okay, because everything starts from HR first one, because they are the one that get into the people and things like that. So, what would be your advice as a company that have not been really? How do you advise them to do it? How do you help them to start? I think this is important to know also.
For HR and corporates?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think before the start part, I will just add on a little bit and I will pass it to Charles because it's exactly repeating the same things that we've been through 8 years ago. That time, digital marketing is something very new. It's not taught in any universities or colleges, right? So the same goes to AI right now. And when you mention that everyone doesn't really know how to really work on AI and things like that, it's exactly the same situations that we are having right now. There's no universities or colleges right now having a full-fledged of courses, degree or diploma in AI and digital transformation. No. So it's about the individual have to picking up a small skills by themselves. Yeah. So I think this is currently the stage that we are looking at. So in terms of come back to how we start, I'm pass back to Charles.
Yeah. How do we start that? I really wonder, if for a company like our size is already there, okay lah. I implement, you do, you stay, you don't do, you jiao lah. But many different size of company also.
Correct. PORTMAN is quite advanced or very advanced in terms of technology and things like that, right? Example, I saw the small kids, 11, 12 years old, are making videos, what do you call that? With a music clip, sound clip with videos and things like that for the school team.
School songs.
Amazing, right? Now, let's talk about manufacturing company, HR, probably around 40s, 50s, correct? Now, are they adept to AI? Probably here, a little bit here and there. But the first step is always about awareness. What can AI do? So, in this conversation, in the podcast, I also talk about, again, you have to focus on the objective. Do you want to help you in logistics, in recruitment, in manufacturing, in marketing? So, the HR must know what they can do for the company, at least in the general awareness stage, right? And this is where also business owner also must have. You see, HR is to support the business, correct? It support the management. It's a very important role, but it's support. So if the management says that I need more of these people, HR go and find. HR was job to take care, like I mentioned, of 4 job that HR does. However, awareness comes first. What can AI do? Right now, if I ask a lot of people, let's say I ask 10 people outside there, right? Not in digital space, not in AI space, just normal bosses. What can AI do? Oh, AI is ChatGPT lo. If they're if they're a little bit better, AI is Canva lo. If they're a little bit better, AI can do a lot of things. But that's the capacity. But let's talk about what AI can do, really. It can analyze data. It can automate the whole processes. It can make life, job easier, faster, efficient, correct? So these are the things, like I mentioned, about integration of data, integration of departments. So there's so much more to just AI based on tools. So when I first started, I also mentioned this. It is not about, yes, tools are important, but that's not just AI. Yeah, even though I give credit to ChatGPT to give the awareness tremendously, because AI has not been it's been like the last 20 years. It's been there. It is that probably someone heard it, someone focus on it, but right now it's data, it's intelligence. What do you use with that? So if you dive deep in, management will know. Oh, I got so much data now. What do I do? Another problem, First, they do not know they got data. Second, now I got data. What can I do? Can AI help me to sort things? Can AI give me suggestions? Yes. So we need to train the data. But before we train the data, those are advanced, let's train the employee. Let's train the management. Management first. Then management, okay with that, we focus into education on the employee side. Then, if they still cannot get people, our job, we can help you get people. There's so many people today. That wants to go into AI, wants to do digital transformation, wants to go into digitalization. So there's a lot of things that we can do for companies also.
Okay. Zevin, you have anything to add over here?
Yeah, I'm looking at more towards to the job opportunities in the markets itself, right? So because there's so much talent is needed, and there's currently it's like in the past also we don't have the job titles like influencer. we don't have all those titles, right? But right now we are looking at as completely a new scope of like
One of the highest paid job in the world.
So perhaps probably there will be like AI developers, right? AI implementers, AI system maintainers.
Prompt engineering.
Prompt engineering.
Correct.
Exactly, right? So
People who specialize in prompt. Sorry, Zevin. Yeah, go ahead.
How to prompt the AI.
So there's a lot of like exciting things going on and a lot of opportunities, not just for the companies but also for the individuals as well. Yeah.
Okay. Now, talking about that, awareness come first is important. Okay, but having to, I mean, with my experience in education industry is always this thing. I'll give you an example. Let's talk about college. You teach the college student to do something. Okay, they want to implement that. They want to, like example, I'm teaching a 18 years old to invest into a property, right? Or maybe stock market.
Okay.
The first thing they go back and tell the mother is, you sort
Yes.
you crazy 18 years old, you buy a house. This is exactly what happened to me and my buddies, right? So that also happened in corporate one, in MNC, in SME. So a lot of time we go and talk, like I talk to you, right? Charles, you should implement this. You agree. Then when you go back and tell your boss, like example, Zevin is the boss, right? Spend 500,000 to go and.
True.
Now, how do we deal with this situation first? as a consultant, what should we do? Okay, if this thing arise.
I think it's not going in and just talk to companies and say you must do this, you must do that, you must do that. I think that's wrong approach. As a consultant, what we go in is we understand what are the needs, what are the things that you want to save, what are the things that you want to increase in terms of revenue, how much money you want to make. Now, that's my job to come out with a proposal, see what you have and what are your gaps, what are you lacking, fill up the gap, whether it's internal or whether it's external. And then there's also transition. If let's say external, you want to get other people to work and help you, can you retrain them at the same time working with other people? So it's all about what the bosses want. I agree. If middle management comes in the training and get all the ideas excited and go back talk to the higher management, of course I also will say, you gila, why you just want $500,000 from me?
Correct.
So that's our job to go in, understand what they really want, do a analysis, gap analysis, propose proper based on your understanding of what you have, whether your manpower, the resources that you have, the technology, how much you must invest extra. At the same time, how much potential money that you can get in the next 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters. We achieve by quarterly. And of course, right, every boss, including me, if I can make a lot of money and from that money, I mean, whatever ROI that I get, of course I will invest one. Nobody will say no. You buy property also, you talk about property, right? 18-year-old, yes, the parents will say you're crazy because they're scared.
Yeah.
But we must understand why they are scared. Probably because they are not educated. Number one, their past parents or their grandparents buy property, lose money. Maybe they buy a property there, the developer run away.
Track record, not good.
Run away, you never do research. But if you have all the data, if you know all the research, you know that this developer is good. You got MRT beside that, your rental yield is higher than your payment from banks. What is there to lose? You know there's a demand or a job opportunity there. I mean, I also know a little bit of property. So basically, if you have educated, you have not only awareness, but you are educated. Your risk, I won't say it's 100% no risk, but your risk is probably can be eliminated, correct or not? I mean, if the bosses say that, hey, I don't want to take risk, then you are the wrong. You're not supposed to do business. Business is all about risk, but managing the risk.
Yep.
So I think if, give credit to bosses. We won't say it's crazy. We all say that it's 500,000. But if I spend 500,000, just tweak a little bit, can I get 2 million ROI from that? I mean, not 2 million X, but 2 million revenue from that. Yeah. So this is something that I think they want, bosses want.
Okay. Zevin, what do you think?
I think it's more to it is to, as an employee, right, or the manager itself, when you are trying to propose some things to your boss, right, you shouldn't just go in like, nah, like
Like that, oh,
okay,
I'm not
spend
paying
money,
mine,
right?
you're paying mine.
But you need to understand from the boss perspective of what they need and they want, right? And also at the same time, what are the existing problem and challenges that the company is facing. So standing at the positions of the boss, if you can justify to me why I need to spend that money, by all means, right? To us, it's like, yeah, by all means, but you understand my problem, you can help me to identify the problem, and right now you're proposing me a solution. Yeah. So the main criteria override here is that to start with discovering the pain, discovering the problem and challenges. But we are not looking at every single companies you will adapt to AI solutions right now. Because some companies, their realization might come later, right? So at the current stage, they might think, I'm doing perfectly fine. I'm good. I don't have any problem challenges. Then it's okay, right? So we are going to focus on those companies that currently they're having some problem and challenges in their daily business operations. And from there, we help them to discover what is the solutions that's possible solution for them. And from there, how can it actually add values to the company?
I would just add to this also. You see, companies, let's say corporates, I told you got many departments, right?
Right.
And one of the biggest problems is they're scared their data will be how to transfer and things like that. Start small. Start by project base. Let's start with something that can be easily tangible, can easily calculate. For example, marketing. Yeah, right now I help you get better. I help you use AI to get better, to use your leads to make it more efficient in terms of marketing, in terms of sales. Will that be good? Good. Let's start as a small project first. They don't have to whole company integrate the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, hey, not bad, eh? I did a results. Hey, not bad, I did another thing. Okay, let's do more and more. So companies need to know that it's not about AI or no AI. It's
Sikit-sikit jadi bukit lah.
sikit-sikit jadi bukit loh. So they can say project based and then get the buy-in, because I understand that human change is the most difficult thing. AI software easy lah, just buy, implement. Yeah. People is the most difficult. And understanding a little bit of psychology, people need to see things before they believe. Bosses, we can believe without seeing things because we are bosses, right?
Visionary.
Visionaries, thank you. So these are things that start small, good so that the staff, the employee also not so scared, my job no more liao lo. My job no more already. See, my Hokkien also coming out liao. These are things that, I'm embracing it, I might be more efficient, I can do better now. But it has to be aligned, no? The same mean that you do better, you can relax. Yeah, maybe the same pay, correct. But the bosses will say, if you want more, do you want more? So I think open communication is very important. Start with small project rather than integrating and then after that fail, even worse, right? Data in companies are very sensitive. So start small. Let's do a campaign first. Let's see how AI can make it 10x better, 5x better. So I would suggest that, yeah.
Nice. Right, Ken, we're gonna take a short break over here for a commercial break. Then we will come back to wrap up the show. So see you later.
At PORTMAN Training Academy, we also offer AI and digital transformation services. AI has been a hot topic in the market for a lot of entrepreneurs and businesses. But the question is, how do we leverage on that to actually do better business? Now, if you do not know where to start, how to start, we are the best for you. Speak to us, we can come up with a whole entire AI and digital transformation plan for your business. This is not just gonna save your money, save your time, most importantly is to make all of our work more efficient. Don't you find a lot of training out there is way too traditional? Maybe the first 2 hours you're already trying to get out of the training room. Don't worry, I can understand that. That's why at PORTMAN Training Academy, we leverage on a lot of different technology to make our training more interesting and interactive. Just like this effect that you're looking right now. It's all from our green screen facility. You want to have this experience together with me as well? We are here for you. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Talents Podcast, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the uglies about talents. At PORTMAN Training Academy, we don't just offer training services, we also produce online content like this podcast over here for our online audience. At this podcast, we always like to invite HR professionals, HR directors to come on board over here to share their valuable info. We don't want to just be a normal training services company over here. We also want to take care of our online audience. Well, this is from PORTMAN Training Academy. Now, if you're still watching this video over here, I don't know what you are waiting for. I'm pretty sure that is something that I mentioned in the video over here that fits your need. Don't wait. contact this number over here and we look forward to serving you. Goodbye.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's wrap it up with our last part over here. Now, we have discussed a lot of different things, the pros and cons, whether we are going to be replaced or not. But the conclusion is not necessarily you're going to be replaced. You better bandai also. Because if a company want to implement AI, they have to implement it. End of the day, cutting costs and making higher revenue is every business's objective. Now, with this last part over here, we're going to be a little bit more visionary, okay, to talk about how is this going to change the business world? How is it going to change the individual who is working in the society? So let's go with Charles first. Now, with this AI implementation and with a transformation expert in this area over here, what do you see? Like in maybe 3 years, 5 years, how do you see AI changing the business world?
Definitely, it's going to be impactful, positive. Again, AI has changed a lot of things. We first need to know what AI can do. I think the first 2 sessions that we did, we already identified that a lot of things they can do. How much effort a company wants to go into it, how much money, time, resources spent into it, I think that one bosses will need to ask themselves and answer themselves.
Okay.
For us at PDMC, we fully embrace it. Because first, we are small. We are small in terms of we are not manufacturing side. We don't have 400 staff, 500 staff. Big people, big players have their own challenges, which I also give the solution. Start with project-based rather than department-based. But for us, small people, below 10 staff, easy to implement, very fast. So can we implement in marketing? Can we implement in HR? We don't have logistics, we are service industry. So can we implement in the way we do things, like you mentioned, reporting, graphic designs. So can we implement all this immediately? Definitely can. So these are things that I foresee that bigger fellas will take a little bit more time, but they will definitely go into that, either by project-based, either by department-based, or whole transformation by itself.
Okay.
So these are things that I foresee. SMEs, if you're not into AI now, I think you'll be replaced by other companies who are leveraging on AI.
So instead of AI replacing humans, we are talking about AI removing businesses.
Eliminating.
So Zevin, what do you think on this part over here? You also agree to it, or you have a different thought?
I think it's a matter of time, right? AIs, whether or not companies will implement or adopt AI and digital transformation, it's just a matter of time. However, a company should neither rush into these AI adoptions blindly, nor they just afraid and then by saying that it's too difficult and then run away from it. And being as a company perspective, you need to have a more thoughtful and strategic approach into these AI adoptions, right? Thinking back a little bit, take a step back a little bit to understand really what is the company directions, what is the company needs, and at the same time having the commitments in employee developments, and also not forgetting about the ethicals, the ethical foundations of the companies when it comes to how we actually use AI in their works, right? Because there will be a lot of like privacy concerns, the security, the risk, and by having this balanced approach, it can help the companies to empower AIs effectively and while mitigating the risk.
Okay, then this actually pops up. Implementing AI is basically a must, whether you are big or small. I think that's the whole conversation that is really about. Then if I'm an individual that wants to implement now, okay, what would be your advice, or which area that I should look into first to know, okay, I implement here, I implement there? What would you look at if you are going into a company?
Oh, simple, marketing.
First one, because make money.
Make money, and you can actually streamline the processes, automate the processes to show the return of investment very easily. When it deals with human, it's a little bit difficult. So marketing is all just based on numbers. How many leads you get, how many follow-ups you do, correct? Basically, it's just marketing, correct? But just automated, more processes, more data, more touch points to give business owner the best direction. So, for example, if today I ask, what's the cost to acquire one customer? A lot of businesses will look at me blankly. What do you mean? Is there a cost? Wow, I spent 10,000 budget on Facebook. To me, I don't care. Because if I know the cost to acquire one customer, the more I can spend, the more money I make. It's like printing money.
Understand.
So these are things that even big corporates, SMEs, they don't fully adapt even digital marketing for the per se first. But because we are so used to it, it's not that we are biased. Yes, we are biased, but if you ask me to be objective, definitely marketing, because you can measure. Things that you can measure easily is easy to implement. How about humans? Let's talk about maybe a little bit of human resource, HR. How can you implement or how can you measure performance? It's going to be a little bit more difficult, correct? Employees also be scared. Wow, now you're collecting my data for what? So the bosses also need to think. I always come from the boss's side. Is AI going to restrict my employees? Are they going to be, oh, now you want me to do this? You're checking my phone. What I post on the internet, you can know one, correct or not? I can get all the data, whether you post during department company time or not. I know one. I can also know your sentiment, whether you want to leave the company or not. AI is predictive, Predictive means I can know the future, So based on the thing, you are looking at other jobs. So as a management, you're looking at other jobs. So what do I do now?
Fire you now.
Do I fire you now? Do I give you data? So these are things that, I wouldn't have the answer. The management, the company needs to think about this. I mean, last time we don't have all this data, correct, right?
Correct.
So it's easy. Oh, we know you're slacking, you don't come to work. Yeah, we can know that. But nowadays, people can pretend. Correct or not? But if you have AI to capture whatever they are posting on the internet, and then it comes into what Zevin mentioned, what do you call this? What's the word they use just now? The last one that is the policy of the company, whether they can capture this data or not. Is it right or is it wrong?
The ethical?
Ethical.
use?
Ethical.
Thank you. The ethical processes. Is it right for you to go through my things? So where do we draw the line?
Well, I mean, in America, TikTok, Facebook, IG, Instagram, always get into this trouble.
Always get into this trouble, correct. So where do we draw this line? So management processes, they need to think of all this. So if you ask me easily, before you think of all this, marketing is easy because it's all numbers, it's all things that doesn't restrict the employee. It's going to enhance the business operation by all means. So marketing is definitely the first one.
Then marketing is my thing, Eddie. I would challenge this, Me as an individual, okay, there are a lot of different buyers or customers, or they have their own behavior. We call it customer behavior, right?
Correct.
In Malaysia, I think because of discipline that I also talk about it. Can AI really deal with Malaysia customer? Like, you see, the moment when I look at it, it's like a robot responding to me. It's a scam.
Okay.
Or I don't have human touch because AI end of the day still lack a little bit of human touch. Although I heard there are AI that is really like very human, but still there is a gap there, right? It really can help in closing the deal, or I don't think so. I personally felt like it's still not there to close the deal for us.
It's a good challenge. It's a good question that you ask, right? So let's look into what AI can do and what AI can't do. Okay, so AI can do a lot of segmentation. So the message to me will be very personalized. Rather than you giving me things that not relevant to me, you're very personalized. For example, if today I call you up and say, "Happy birthday, JL, you've been a customer for 10 years and this is for you." Wow, you remember my birthday, so thank you so much. These are just the basic things what AI can do. Automate the processes. Can AI go into voice? How do you differentiate between you are the robot calling or a human calling? You wouldn't know.
Yep.
Because you can talk.
Yep.
Yeah. Chatbot today, right? Chatbot today also got voice. We also got voice activation. Now, if you ask me, I really hate the banking industry when I have to call them and press 1.
Yeah, +1.
Press 2. Press 3. Press 0. But is that AI? No. They're just a little bit of automation. But AI can really get, like I mentioned, segmentation. You give me what I want, I love it. Correct, that's number one. It can be very personalized. Let's look at to Netflix, YouTube, social media, right? We only get what we want and they understand. Wow, you like this kind of videos. Maybe pros, good, I like that. Cons is you don't explore a lot of other things. But what I observe right now, right? AI, in social media also explore things like, do you like more of this? Do you like less of this? Netflix also give you things that you like, maybe 80%, 20% they try to explore things. So you see how AI is evolving? Yeah. So these are things that at the current moment, if it's intrusive, in terms of a robot talking to you, yes. But if you can offer me more things, like I just mentioned the happy birthday, or 10 years ago you're talking about this and that, your company, you want to this, you want to do that. A human cannot do that. They cannot remember 10 years ago conversation.
Especially in Malaysia.
Okay. AI can do that. Hey, remember 3 years ago you were talking about you want to AI-fy your business. How is it now? Have you done? No, let's talk more. So can AI do that? Yes. So it's valid that I do not want to be served by AI at the current moment, but AI, if you dive deep into it, all this technology is already available. How about medical? How about past history? It's still automated. It's still human touch. It's very important, I would say this, because the final decision must always be a human touch. If I want to close a deal, I want to talk to a human. If I talk to a doctor who can give me every single, diagnose whatever problems, right? I still want a doctor to give me the reassurance. And I never think that AI will replace that. So these are things that, there are strengths of what AI can do, strengths that AI can't do one.
I agree.
You understand? So these are, because you must understand AI is just based on input and data. If you don't feed enough, you don't train enough, it will give you whatever it gets. That is what GPT today, they say a lot of dreaming kind of answers or nonsense kind of answers because they don't verify the data. But that's just ChatGPT. There's so many other GPTs outside there that's getting better and better.
So by listening to all our discussion today, I think AI play a very important role. I mean, we already know that, but I didn't know that it was so impactful. And the impact is not like that, it's like this. And while we are talking about replacing human, I also realize that it's not just about replacing human. If businesses don't apply AI, will also be replaced by something else, which what also can be very possible. So I personally have benefited a lot. I think moving forward, we have to explore. We really have to explore, whether it's from an individual perspective or business perspective. We have to explore what are the availability that is for us to use. Because standing from a CEO perspective or a person who handle P&L, yes, I may not want to take out so much money to implement something right now like 100,000, 500,000, but you are right. Implement bit by bit. It's workable also. And to me, as a kiamsiap person, there is a lot of free thing or free trial that is available for 30 days or some are 60 days. Some got free version. Unless you want better feature, then maybe you pay for more. So I think implementing bit by bit, it's the key to this thing. So before we actually go, I think for our audience, also for your fans who is watching this video over here, Charles, why don't you share with our audience on one last thing that you want to tell them or things that you want to share with them?
Okay. AI definitely has a lot of advantages. AI are not tools. Tools are part of AI, but AI is just not tools. We are not going to use just tools that you mentioned, like free trials, but those are important. However, systemize, automation, application, help a company reduce costs, help a company decrease costs, increase revenue. These are what AI can do.
Correct.
And when we go in, just to summarize, we can help you understand the gap. We understand what you want based on what your team has, not to give you things like, wow, 500,000, but you need to go and spend this and buy that and buy this. No. Look at your company, what are your level, what do you want to achieve, see whether we can help you or not. So I think if you ask me to summarize, AI is a must to go. Big corporates, small, medium companies, they must use AI.
Right.
And can I offer something?
Sure.
So if you think that you want to have a discussion, no hard sales, just discussion whether you are suitable, what can be the next stage to moving into AI, just talk to us. Just contact us, talk to us, and we'll be more than happy to work with you.
Sure. All right. Thank you very much to Charles and Zevin today, our special guest today. So I think you have also heard a lot of insights over here. Now, Charles also have already given his value. So feel free to comment and also talk to us if you want to. And with that, this is the end of our today's topic. Is AI going to replace all human? I think you have the answer. So implement AI as soon as you can. Don't be replaced by them. With that, I'll see you at next episode. Goodbye.